welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I am your grateful host, very grateful host. Head in studio with me, my boy Lane. What's up, Lane?
Hi, everybody.
Man, where you been?
Oh, I've been all over the place, but I'm happy to be back.
You are a traveling young man. You've
Yes.
gone to you've gone to a lot of places this summer.
I definitely have.
And Q and I were, guys. Lane has this excuse about going to school, finishing school. We're trying to recruit him over here. I guess education's good. We're gonna sneak you in the studio during the school year. We're gonna figure it out. How's that?
Yeah, every now and then I'll come in.
Yeah, man.
Make sure to say hi.
We love you over here.
Yeah. I love it over here too.
Yeah, you see, you get to hang out, get to talk about the news of the day, and we get to talk about it with this wonderful audience. Guys, go visit my friends over there, Stan's Auto, for all your automobile needs. And hey, shout out to Sterling, by the way, man. That dude, he saved me some money the other day on some tires, and that little check engine light that comes on every once in a while, Lane. You know what I mean? Well, mine popped up on the Jeep. Brought it over there. One of the rare times that Sterling was not sitting in the front smiling at everybody. I was like, wait a minute, am I in Stan's Auto? He must have been in Iberia or something. Anyway, go 2 locations, New Iberia, Lafayette. Go visit him at Stan's Auto. All right, Lane. We talked about it yesterday a little bit, but we're going to talk more about this DSA stuff, this Democratic Socialists of America. How can you have socialists and America in the same acronym?
I don't know. I don't understand how they can be in the same sentence. I don't even know how they can be near each other. Because socialism and America are acronyms of each other. They should not be around each other. You cannot be a socialist and a patriot at the same time.
Not for long.
No, not for long.
You won't have a country. I remember hearing this a lot from our dear congressman. That's 2 shout outs in a row. But hey, doing a good job. I remember years ago listening to him say, you can vote your way into socialism, but you'll have to shoot your way out. And that is very true. I look around the world. You got plenty of examples. Okay, so we have 3 different topics within the same topic, different angles. We had an election last night, so there was some things happening, and if you really want to know, like, the direction of the Democrat Party, at least right now, look no further than Michigan. Look at all right, so a co-founder of, now, Lane, you've probably been visiting this group a lot, the Sunrise Movement. Are you a member of that?
No, I don't believe so.
So in all your adventures, you go to TPUSA, you do all these other cool things. Sunrise Movement was not your club?
Nope.
Well, they just defeated the establishment-backed candidates, with an S, in a congressional primary. You probably saw that yesterday. Not a close race, by the way. I'm talking like a decisive Democrat primary victory. This is in Michigan. A swing state. Now, the Sunrise Movement started as a climate activist organization, maybe holding hands around a tree. That's the liberals I miss. So what? They may protest a little bit, maybe hold up some signs and handcuff themselves to a bulldozer, that kind of stuff. Like, that was extreme. Handcuffing yourself to a bulldozer would be extreme. Holding hands around some trees, protesting some development or something. That's old school, not really hurting many people, just frustrating the heck and making your point. Got it.
You know what they say about environmentalists? Joe told me this. They're like a watermelon. They're green on the outside, but as soon as you start really understanding what they are, you cut them open, they're red, just like a communist.
Oh, like a water? Oh, Joe, that's such a good analogy. Okay, good. Now, it started with, and this is the thing about these organizations. So, Lane, I'm looking at my notes here. Sunrise Movement, it starts as a climate change type organization, but as you can see, just like I'm sure BLM was started in a certain way, and then it morphed into the corrupt business that it is, just like a lot of these other folks. But Sunrise Movement has supported, it's expanded. It has expanded. It now is way more developed. It can focus on more than climate change and all the things. It now supports removing ice from a man. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to get through some of these talking points. These facts. All right. So this little climate change group has also supported removing ice from American cities. They have called very, very big climate initiatives. They've called for abolishing police, according to its own published positions. What happened to save the whales? Like, what the heck? Jeez. Lane, you know they have whale hunters? Did you know that was a thing?
Yeah, way back in the day. It's not really a thing anymore.
That would be mean now. You're killing those big old fish.
Yeah.
Whaling ships.
Whaling. That always seems very interesting to me. But do you know actually that when the oil industry started, it actually saved the whales? Because to light lamps back then, they used whale oil, and then whenever they started getting petroleum oil, and they started extracting oil from the ground, great oil business, it actually saved the whales.
You see, oil and gas.
Yep.
Right here, our bread and butter here in Lafayette Parish. Oil and gas has saved the whales. Now, doggone it, now back off, Sunrise Movement. Oh wait, they're not environmentalists anymore. They're anti-ice. You see how this all starts? It starts off with a little group that just doesn't want to be like the societal norms. Hey, that's cool. I'm all about, thinking outside the box, being yourself. You want to be different. Different doesn't mean deficient. I love all that. But there's a difference between being deficient for like the common good. Deficient. There's a difference between being different for the common good or helping people, or just being a little jerk that is not helping anybody. Just like no solutions, just griping and moaning. You see what I'm saying? And that's why some of these groups, or a lot of these groups, they morph into something. But this is morphed into just more of the same DSA type stuff. This is a different group. Maybe this is a different chapter of socialism. I think the Democrat Party should change its name to just socialism, the Socialist Party of America. Or at some point, it's going to, I guess, fracture off, unless Chuck Schumer and the establishment folks can keep them in line. But you got Bernie Sanders feeling the burn, Lane.
Always feeling the burn. He's everywhere now.
And Rashida Tlaib, I butcher her. I know I can see her name. I can see her face, but I butcher her poor little name. Tlaib, I think. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And this wasn't even a Democratic establishment, like, orchestrated event. Again, this is outside. Schumer and them are, like, losing their mind. This was the more than progressive wing. Like, this is what I'm saying. We used to look at the progressive wing and say, man, those guys really want big government. They want to tax you a lot. They feel like the government can answer everything. Now they're putting the government in areas that they shouldn't be. That's frustrating, but it doesn't kill our country. It's aggravating, and it can be setbacks, and it might set you back a couple of years or even a decade. Whew, hope not. Hope not on some of that stuff. But that's way different than socialism. And that's way different than communism. And socialism and communism are the same thing. It's both government running everything. I get it. One has elections. So anyway. All right. The biggest story in even one of these congressional districts. All right. It's not even the congressional district in Michigan. It's what we continue to see. It's what we talked about yesterday. It's what we're going to talk about a few different angles on the same topic later in the show, actually next. And it's the continuing battle over the direction of one of our two major political parties, this one being the Democratic Party. and across the country. You can see it. It's Colorado. It's not necessarily New York, California, but these Midwest folks. You know what I'm saying? Michigan. I don't know if that's considered the Midwest or not. But across the country, the party is wrestling with whether its future belongs to its traditional leaders, huh? Or does it belong to a more progressive movement pushing policies like on immigration, free borders, policing, climate, and the role of government? So stick around, guys. We'll be right back. I can't wait. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Man, we are broadcasting from the KPEL Studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Go check us out at rumble.com. Look up the Josh Guillory Show. Shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. We certainly appreciate you guys. Hey, man, go check out my friends over there at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic. Start treating the symptoms from the inside out. Matter of fact, get ahead of those symptoms. Go feel better. Go look better. Go wake up without that fog and things like that and just be focused, And it's, look, you go to Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic here in Lafayette, you got Chris and the crew, you got Dr. Kevin. All these guys are going to take care of you, man. You'll feel better. And it doesn't take long. I will tell you that firsthand. Go do what me and my wife and my family, a lot of my friends have done. Now strangers are doing. Go visit Dr. Kevin at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic. Go check out all this crave about functioning wellness, and we've seen the other way. Now let's see if we can add to it. Nobody's taking away. All right, let's see here. These guys in the DSA are taking away from some basic American philosophies. They're finding a home in the Democrat Party, and they're taking over. The the patients are running the asylum. Well, I don't know. I mean, I know this. This primary in Michigan is just another example, just like the election in Colorado. Of course, like New York and California, but these are not New York and California. These are places where, yeah, you got some hippies. You got some hippies in Colorado, but historically, nobody's messing with anybody. They all got legal marijuana and stuff. They're just kind of chilling.
Getting clean needles from bins after they turn in their dirty ones.
That is true. Man, look, I get it, the whole needle exchange. I get it. And it's good. It's good intentions. At least the folks that I've talked to that try to push this stuff, it's good intentions. It's like these trash bags people put up at the panhandling spots in Lafayette, Louisiana. I understand, and it's good. It's one little group that does, and I appreciate those guys. They work hard. They want to care for our city. They shouldn't have to. Matter of fact, it's not the group's fault. It's the city's fault for not being on top of these things. But when we encourage the behavior, I just don't think that helps. I don't think that helps. So you're seeing that with the DSA. You're seeing that in other examples. Lane, let's go to Wisconsin. You ever been to Wisconsin?
I've never been to Wisconsin before. I actually haven't been any more north than D.C.
Ah, I thought you were going to say Alexandria.
Yeah. For a while, the farthest I've been north was probably Alexandria.
Church Point.
Ashland.
Alexandria, man. All right. So I grew up there. Yeah. All right, so Wisconsin. Let's go to Wisconsin. All right. Here we go. Yeah, we just talked about Michigan. We talked about Colorado a little bit. Now let's move on to Wisconsin, okay? At some point, We know it's not a coincidence, but you do see some of these guys saying that. Not the DSA folks. They're pretty firm on taking over the party in all 50 states, territories. They want dominance. Okay, they want dominance. But you got the establishment, old guard Democrats saying, "Oh, it's just a coincidence. It's just a fad." Remember? See, the only one that's been in charge that I would believe it's a fad, at least momentarily, is Nancy Pelosi. She's the only one that kept that far fringe group in check. You don't remember the squad, Lane?
Oh, I remember the squad. Trust me, I remember the squad.
And you know how Nancy Pelosi, she when AOC started her little stuff in I think 2018 when she got in, Nancy Pelosi was sit down, child.
Yeah.
Sit down, child.
And then they started to not vote for her when it came to speaker elections, and then she started giving them power so they would stay where she needs them. Nancy Pelosi, as much as she frustrates conservatives, that woman knew how to wield power.
Oh gosh, yeah,
really, really well.
I mean, Obamacare. She's the one that made budget reconciliation kind of a thing. That's a leader in the House telling the Senate how to do it, and I think Mike Johnson is trying to do the same thing. Like, guys, what more could I do? Mike Johnson has like what, 2 people leave? 1 or 2 people? That's it. I mean, he has no wiggle room, and he's passed some major things like the SAVE Act. By the way, I'll get more on this. Maybe tomorrow we'll cover it. But did you see where the House Republicans added the Save America Act to the defense bill? I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that they put a Recon 3 together. Clay Higgins came talk about that on Kerry Ross's show.
Yeah.
And it seems like it can pass easily. I don't understand why it's so so hard to pass.
You're right. Well, that's a question because we don't know why. I can't even explain why Senator John Thune. I'm not calling him Leader Thune anymore. He's only leading us into the same old that his people got us in. All these elites got us in for 50 years of just thinking this way. So procedurally, what they did was they added pork for. I mean, it's not really pork, but they added the Save America Act to the defense bill. No one's going to vote against the defense bill. Not most people, Democrat or Republican. So the House was pretty smart doing that. Now I got to stay true to who I am. I can't stand when Congress does that.
No, I don't like it either.
Like one issue, one bill. The only thing I can think of, and I'm not just trying to find ways for my fellow Republicans to be right here, but the Save America Act, I guess, is related to national defense.
Yeah, I really think you could argue that.
You know, I mean, like if you're gonna, a great tactic to fight democracy is to mess with the democratic elections. So to me, it is germane. I'll use a Louisiana legislative term. It's related. But regardless, that is a clever little move. We'll see how that goes through. Through the Senate. Are they going to? And by the way, 6 Democrats crossed the aisle and supported it in the House, and I believe 2 Republicans said no. Man, are those 2 not running for re-election? I think they're not. But let's see.
I'll look it up.
Always showing your true colors. Why weren't you like that the whole time? Anyway, but none of this is a coincidence. None of this stuff with Wisconsin or anything like that. This is all the same old. The same old. All right, we're going to take us a tiny little break, guys. When we get back, we'll wrap a bow on this and talk about so much more. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. To the Josh Guillory Show. Go visit my friends at Giles Volvo. Giles Volvo here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Go get that luxury experience. You see the Volvos all over town. You see them. I'm seeing more and more Volvos. Of course, I see the Giles license plate. We're blessed to have that here in Lafayette. Go visit them. Giles Volvo. You know, you get the luxury experience, but you also get the maintenance and service and customer service that Giles provides. Go visit Giles Volvo here in Lafayette, Louisiana. let's keep talking about some silly stuff, shall we? All right, so we're still in Wisconsin. We may stay on Wisconsin for a tiny bit. So you had, and just to recap, we're bringing in, we're talking about the socialist wing, basically, that is growing and growing and growing and growing. We talk about that a lot within the Democrat Party, which is drifting very left. It's being pulled. So you look at this race here in Wisconsin, and you had the Democratic establishment fighting tooth and nail against Francesca Hong. What did Miss Hong do?
Well, she did a bunch of stuff. She posted during COVID that she wanted to cancel Thanksgiving because of colonialism.
Dude. Yeah, that's who we want in Congress. That's who we want in Congress. Wow. Governor Tony Evers has endorsed someone else. Ooh. Because many Democrats believe she's the weaker general election candidate. You think? I mean, that's crazy. So that's the story. This isn't. These aren't like in Wisconsin and all these other places. These aren't Republicans doing the attacking. These aren't Republicans that are saying she's too liberal. It's Democrats. Hong has ties to the DSA, shocker, Democrat Socialists of America. In the past, she's supported, all the good things like, I'm kidding, but she supported abolishing the police. Yeah, you want to abolish the police until you need the police. Then you don't want to abolish them. Shout out to all our law enforcement officers. I know you guys get so much flack from these left-leaning groups, and it's unfortunate. You don't get it as much here in Louisiana, in other cities and parishes and counties. But there's enough of it that goes around that I don't want the morale of our wonderful officers and deputies across Acadiana to get down. Our public loves you. We appreciate you. I do. Thank you so much. But I wouldn't be feeling the love if I was in Wisconsin hearing these folks. Not all the Wisconsin candidates. But man. And you're right. She comes out Thanksgiving. She's wanting to cancel basically Culver. Yeah. All right, so now running statewide, she's emphasizing that she's practical, Lane. She's not running slogans. Okay. That's what statewide elections do, though. You see, candidates who appeal to activists in primaries, well, they often spend the general election trying to reassure everyone else that they're not like that. So here's the thing. Conservatives, what I find, we get frustrated with some Republican candidates here. I'm very much a Republican. But it seems like the Republican candidates will run, not all of them, most of them don't, but a few of them will run on this fiscally responsible, smaller government, conservative platform, and then they go further left. These left-wing folks, they run more center, and then they govern way left. So it's like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But there's always a push to go more left. What happens when you get in government? I mean, just say no. I'm telling you, it's not hard. Just do what Nancy Reagan said. Just say no. Just say no. Just say no to the extra the government position. Say no to the extra bureaucracy. Be innovative. I get so frustrated. We'll talk maybe the local budget a little bit more here in Lafayette. Elaine, it frustrates me because I see the dollars being spent and I don't see the work. And this is all public record. So we pulled the public records request. We see what roads are not being paved. And it's not just, you see this a lot with Democrat-led cities. It's a lot of talk and there's no walk. And there's a lot of not spending money efficiently. Man, when you get in local government, if you really want to do some things, you gotta go in there with the attitude like this. Do more with less. Stop with your excuses. Get out of your silos. All these departments, and it's not just Lafayette and other areas, they have their respective territories, parks, roads, all this stuff, utilities, drainage. And oftentimes they're viewed as these little kingdoms. No, you guys talk. Directors talk. Find your efficiencies. Is there something in some other department that can do something that makes it cost effective? We don't see that in Lafayette anymore. So we spend all this money and we don't see any product. Call, not today, the phones aren't up. Tomorrow, call in. Tell me if your road's been paved. Tell me, because I rarely see them. I see them in Bendale Gardens.
Yeah. If the government's not going to do the job we hire them for and then want to grow more, it just doesn't make sense. They're not doing basic things. Let me give you an example. The other day, my girlfriend comes over. She leaves. She goes on Interstate 49, and the road is closed, but there is no sign.
Lane. It drives me crazy. We're not. First of all, we're not doing any construction. I mean, we are, but we're doing very little construction here in Lafayette Consolidated Government. And what we are doing, we're not doing it well. We got cones all over the place. We're the cone and panhandling capital of the world. You got all these signs of construction, but no construction. You're blocking roads when there's no work being done. And it's just, I think people are starting to see that when you have, man, when you got somebody in there that didn't run on good faith, okay, and didn't have a plan, that's what happens. But it's not just that particular person, because I don't want to make it about one individual. It's a mindset. You see what I'm saying? Like when you see that, when you drive on I-49 and you see all the things you just said, when you see things not getting done, it's a Democrat mindset. No offense to my Democrat friends. It's just when it's that big government power control ilk that you see all this tax dollars coming in, but it looks like trash outside. And that's not unique to one municipality. Obviously, I'm talking about Lafayette right now, but it's that's across the board. That's why it's so important. Hey, during this DSA, I don't know if it's a purge or if they're overtaking the Democrat Party, but during that time, you're going to see possibly a lot more rhinos. So we got to be careful here. A Republican in name only, and you guys can join the team. We love it. We love it. Just leave your big government, socialist, liberal, pie in the sky ideas with you in the Democrat Party. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. to the Josh Guillory Show. Everybody go to Prejean's right now, but keep the radio on. All right? Lane, it's always gumbo weather.
Yeah, always.
Hey, by the way, I broke my my habit of getting gumbo at Prejean's. I got a steak the other day. Dude, they can cook. Yeah. Like it's pretty good. So they got a whole bunch of stuff. If you're on a diet, they got diet stuff too. I've eaten salads over there. Of course, my friends make fun of me when I do that because I'm at Prejean's, but that's okay. I'll still do that. But mostly my go-to is gumbo. But man, they got a whole bunch of stuff up there. Go visit Prejean's, get that Cajun cuisine, and you got 2 locations, man. You got the classic location off I-49 between Karen Crow and Lafayette, and then right off of Morgan, right off the highway in Broussard. Can't miss it. Prejean's. Shout out to Ken, shout out to Tim, shout out to Karen, shout out to everybody over there doing the great things and for being so kind. Lane, let's continue this discussion on socialism. We'll wrap a bow on it and we'll move on to other things for sure. For sure. But here's the deal. Because it hasn't always been like this. You know, for most of modern American history, if not all of our 250-year history, well, all major political parties, whether you had Whig, Democratic, Republican, Democrat, Republican, whatever, okay? For the most part, major political parties operated within the same basic economic framework. Maybe we get there differently, but it's the same economic framework, which is a capitalist economy with varying levels of government regulation and social programs. So it's a balance. Historically, we've seen Republicans generally favor a smaller government role. Historically, we have lost our mind in the last 10 to 20 years on this, but that's okay. We'll get through it. Democrats historically generally favored a larger government role, but both accepted private enterprise. Both accepted for the vast majority of our country's history, both parties accepted markets and private property as the foundation of the economy. But today's debate is quite different. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, I 100% agree.
It's not even close. All right, so some newer political movements, as we see, well, they openly describe their little selves as democratic socialists. You know, I think these folks in these DSA roles and stuff, I think they like that because they think they will be in control. And what they don't realize is government is a beast. And government, when you grow it, will eat you up. It's like a wild animal that you try to tame that bites you, and you're shocked that it bit you. This is what government is. You can't feed the beast. You tame the beast. You shrink the beast. You don't grow the beast. But these newer political movements, they don't care. Supporters generally argue that government should play a much larger role in everybody's life, like healthcare, housing. What do they mean by that? Is government just going to buy housing? It's always a yin and a yang. You can infuse as much government money as you want. The market will react. Prices will go up. Everything will adjust, and it will be relative. It is a market. When you get the government in tilting the scales will move, but it will eventually evolve, and it usually evolves in higher prices for us. And then the market adjusts some more. So it's a vicious cycle. Same thing when families in America went from one income to 2 incomes. It's not necessarily that we went to 2 incomes because we just wanted to buy everything and things got more expensive because of that. No, it got more expensive because it's a cycle. Costs went up. We didn't demand costs to go down. We just started working more now. And look, for all the women out there working, great, whatever. I'm all about equality. I'm just saying some correlated historical facts. Maybe you can argue that they're not correlated. That's fair. But I think that the facts, well, the facts are the facts. We had one income in most of our nuclear families for a long time. Then we went to two. Costs at the right around the same time jumped, but you had some negative stuff there too. You had a lot of women suppressed in the home that wanted to go do things and they couldn't under that environment. So I see both sides. I get all that. I get all that. My point in making that analogy is when government gets involved, and the two working families, not government necessarily, it's an example of how the market will adjust. So if government gets in and it makes costs so much higher for whatever reason, companies are they're going to adjust. They're going to adjust. The goal is net profit, not necessarily revenue. How we doing on time?
We have about 2 minutes left. Do you mind if I opine a little
Oh,
bit?
please, Lane. Doggone. What's up with all this?
So, a lot of young people feel like there's no hope. They feel apathetic, and they're looking for an answer. And I don't feel Charlie Kirk did this a really good job, but I don't think the Republican Party is doing a good job as a whole of getting the young people to come to them. I think there's some concerted efforts that I think are helping, but I think there needs to be more. So I feel like a lot of people feel like the policies that America has had for years are just Republican policies, just conservative. They see conservatives as old, and they see socialists as progressive as new. So they see this old system as this Republican system, and they want this new socialist system to create it. So if you read Marx, he talks about late stage capitalism. And that's what a lot of people feel today's capitalism is. Because the whole idea with late stage capitalism is that once the markets have expanded so much, the capitalists have to expand somewhere, and there's nowhere else to expand, so they have to take advantage of the consumers. So they feel like these capitalists are taking advantage of the consumers. While in reality, a lot of the reason why prices go so high up is because of government intervention. Healthcare, for example, has shot up as government has gotten more involved.
Yeah.
TV prices have gone down. Do you see the government getting involved in TV prices? I don't think so. They get involved with education. They get involved with healthcare. They get involved with housing. And those are the things that are getting more expensive.
Yes.
So let's look at this. The things that government are getting more involved with are getting more expensive, while the things that government are not involved with are getting less expensive. It's the free market working its way out to make things cheaper and more affordable for the average American.
Supply and demand.
Exactly.
And cost. We say supply and demand a lot, but it's cost, as you said. If government infuses cost, whatever it is, it's just a little regulation. It's just a little regulation, and then there's another regulation, then there's another regulation. Then guess what? It all costs money because these companies have to get compliance officers which you need the accountability, but not like that.
That's why when people started criticizing Trump for affordability policies,
let's
look at Kamala Harris's housing policy. That made no sense at all. Let's put more money into the system. Has she never heard of supply and demand? What economist actually said that was a good idea?
None.
It made no sense.
It's like absolutely bizarre. So, guys, we're going to take us a tiny little break. When we get back, hour number 2, it's going to be hot and heavy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to hour number 2 of the Josh Guillory Show. I remain your grateful host, and in studio with me still, my friend Lane. What up, Lane?
Hi, everybody.
All right, man. We're gonna keep on keeping on. Hey, if you want some excitement, go to Indoor Recreation. Indoor Recreation, they will take care of you. They're right off of College Saloon, right off of Rue Louis XIV, 211 Rue Louis XIV. Indoor Recreation. If you want to just get some cool stuff, some cool swag for your house, you want to buy a pool table, a foosball, dartboard, all that nostalgic type video game type stuff, they got it. Now, before football season, Indoor Recreation's running a ton of deals on their gear, on their UL stuff, on their LSU shirts and material and other swag. So go visit them. Indoor Recreation. If you want to know where your kids are, build a game room and build that game room from indoor recreation. Go build that man cave from indoor recreation. Hey, they'll even do a shed over there, huh? Seashells by the seashore. Go visit indoor recreation here in Lafayette, Louisiana. I'm telling you, Lane, I have to limit my visits over there. I spend my whole paycheck.
Yeah, because you just want to spend all your money.
It is. It's like
awesome.
Cool stuff,
yes.
you know? And obviously, if you're a dude, you probably like a lot of stuff. But, hey, I see women in there, too.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some pretty cool stuff. And, by the way, you know, a lot of times those ladies are better than those men in those sports. I'm just saying, like, I took my wife bowling, Lane.
You have to watch out with bowling sometimes. Because sometimes they get you and you don't expect it.
I ain't messing with her no more. I'm not holding a grudge. It was like 20, almost 21 years ago. And, I thought I'd be nice and take her bowling. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of our first dates. I'm like, I'm going to take it easy on her. Let me tell you something. Ladies first. She went first. I'm talking straight up strike. Okay? I'm like, and she does it like this little move, Like, okay. All right. She smoked me. She like skull drugged me. You all right? You hear me? Listen to me. We went bowling every night until I beat her.
Whoa, that's crazy.
I printed off the score and I kept it for like 2 or 3 years, and I never played. Oh, once I beat her, I kept the score, and I never played her again.
You have to stay off on a high note. I went bowling with my girlfriend one time, and I kept winning. And then one time she was like, "Watch this." She turns around and throws the ball behind her, in between her legs, and got a strike.
That's how
I don't know how she did it.
That's because women are special creatures, and you will find that out.
It doesn't make. I don't know how she did it.
Special, beautiful, brilliant,
Absolutely.
Smart creatures. Thank God for women and young ladies. Our world would be so boring without them.
I agree.
So boring. All right. Let's go local a little bit. Maybe loco. Let's go local. That's pretty good. All right. Now, I feel so bad because we have a wonderful parish. We really do. We have a great parish. We have 6 municipalities in Lafayette Parish. We have the unincorporated area, which is now becoming kind of like its own little municipality, kind of. And 5 of the 6 municipalities are rocking. I mean, really, really doing good. Clean. You don't have to worry about all that nonsense. Government's doing what government should do. Do what it's only supposed to do. Infrastructure, keep us safe, get the heck out of the way. Not making it so burdensome to do business. I mean, take Youngsville, for example. Youngsville has some pretty strict rules, okay? But people love it over there, and they don't mind it because, one, the rules are equally enforced, but 2, it's not just the regulations, it's the personalities. It's the way that the administrations respectively treats its constituents, the can-do attitude. Whenever we being the community, got together and we redid the development code, I really thought that was like the silver bullet because we needed better development. Our developers were leaving. They're like, we ain't doing business here. It costs too much. It's too just burdensome. And y'all changed the rules mid project, which is wrong. I thought that was a silver bullet when we repealed the Unified Development Code, the UDC. UDC, and we made the LDC, Lafayette Development Code. I wanted the name to be as boring as the product. I wanted it to just be straightforward, like this is the rules. They ain't changing unless it's changed, okay, by the council, because that's okay. But there's no hidden tricks. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the silver bullet. It was about 50%, 60% of the solution. I thought it was 100%, about 50, 60%. The other part was process, customer service. Do you have a goal of actually developing? Because a city and a parish and a county that stops its development dies. When you stop developing, you die. When you stop living, you die. When you stop growing, you die. And I'm not saying growing geographically. I'm not saying growing to turn our wonderful towns and villages and even cities into things that they're not and losing their identity. But I'm talking like just doing the right thing, okay? The basics, straight up. None of that socialism stuff we're seeing. It's at the local level. Hey, they got that too. They got that too. So it can be done. But the attitude of the administration, wherever it is, I don't care what state or city or county or parish you're in, the administration reflects the attitude of the leader. If the leader's a lazy slob, well, then you're going to see your city look like Lafayette is. Okay. If you have a leader that wants to help people, like again, you got 5 out of 6 municipalities, and maybe it's the nature of it. Maybe it's like it's designed to be so in your face where you can do that, but I just refuse to believe that. I think it's leaders make choices, leaders lead, folks follow. They're going to follow the guidance and the attitude of the person in charge. Go to any business. Look, I brag on Stan's Auto, for example, for a reason. It's not just, I can go get, and there's a lot of great places out there. I'm not criticizing anybody, but you can go buy tires and get your oil changed a lot of places. I go there because I know the customer service is really good, and you're not going to be waiting a long time. But I also know the management too, and I know their attitude, and it trickles down. And there are so many businesses out there in Lafayette and Acadiana and across our country right now that know exactly what I'm talking about. Here's the beautiful thing. You got elections going on right now. Next year, there'll be election here locally. Look, open your eyes and see. It doesn't have to be like it is in certain areas, you know? And then there's certain areas, and like I said, you got some municipalities, most of them, all of them in Lafayette Parish except one, just thriving. If you don't believe me, just go look at the budgets. Seriously. All public record. Now, we got enough time. We'll go to the next segment, and when we get back, we'll talk about some things locally, specifically downtown Lafayette. Man, is there a little tiff going on?
Seems like it. It really seems like it.
You got one of them, though, that's acting like a pretty good, mature statesman in that tiff, and you got another one that more of the same. Power. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting from the KPEL Studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Hey, you want that great smile? You want to build your confidence with a great smile? Go visit my friends at St. Marie Orthodontics. St. Marie Orthodontics here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Man, go visit Dr. Stacy St. Marie. They have such a great staff over there. And look, don't forget, you may be eligible for some products that you may not have thought of, like invisible liners. You got more technology out there that's way more advanced than that. And it's simple and it's easy. This ain't your mama and daddy's braces. We don't have to wear those big old things like we used to. Come on now. It's easy. And they got some great, great stuff going on over there at St. Marie Orthodontics. If you've been treated by Dr. Stacy St. Marie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Go visit him. Go visit his staff. Wonderful folks. Go get the smile you've been waiting for. All right, so let's stay here local. We're talking, so it's budget time. Hey, look, it's budget time. So we need our councils. We need our councils. Right now, we have a budget that's been provided and presented by Mayor President Boulay here in Lafayette Consolidated Government. And it has recurring revenue. That means every year, okay? Right now, it has $130 million more than the previous administration. That's important. I see all this money being appropriated, but I don't see the work. Do you? Do you? No, of course you don't. I see this money, just like last year, and I watched it very closely. Saw this money appropriated for roads. There ain't no roads being paved. And look, here's the key. You know, we got two things going for us in Lafayette Parish. One, we got our councils. Pray for those guys, man. Pray for our mayor president, too. But look, encourage these council members to get this spending under control. Get this spending under control. All right? So, we got that. And look, I'll tell you, it doesn't have to be this way. We can absolutely do what we need to do. We could take that $130 million and we can pave roads. We can finish the drainage projects. We can make our parks look better. Brown Park in the north side, you know, our current MP ran on helping the north side. And that's all she spent was in the north side. North side, north side, north side. And have you driven by through the north side? The north side has had investment that she has canceled. Where are we at St. Antoine Street Extension? That should have already been built. That is a huge road that could, not a huge road, but a big road that could have way major economic benefit for the north side. You don't care because your predecessor's name was on it, so therefore you canceled it. Brown Park. It looks great. It should be twice the size, and it should be complementing, not competing with, complementing Youngsville, Broussard, the improvements in Scott. So you can have parish-wide organizations, or parish-wide tournaments, parish-wide events that can help all the municipalities. And by the way, the folks in the north side that use Brown Park could use it. Right now, they keep it locked. What is up with that? And how do you lock a park?
Let me opine. As a proud resident of the north side, I am an expert on the north side and I have so much stuff to say about it. The north side is a gym that is not recognized for what it is.
Yes, and it's on high ground.
Yes, it is the older part of Lafayette that just doesn't get the recognition it deserves. It gets completely ignored by so much of the government. LCG does not put the investment it deserves in the north side. The roads are destroyed. Have you ever drove on Moss to go downtown? Moss
has been on the books. It should be done.
It makes zero sense.
Go look at the public. Listen, all these things are... The good thing about budgets and work, public work, is it's all public. You can go pull all this stuff up. I mean, by year 3, we had paved more than 210 miles. The second thing we have going for us, I said the first thing was the council. The second thing, guys, this is election year for Monique. Yes. You know, dude, we should be, I'm telling you, this is what Democrats do. Look what they did at LA. Look what they did in New Orleans. If they have an event coming up, they clean it up. Mm-hmm. So with a Democrat as the mayor president who's registered as a Republican, okay. Anybody believe a Blanco's a Republican? I mean, come on, man. So anyway, um, but this is what they do. They clean up in the election year. So this is our year. Now we may only get good government for like 6 months, and we got a bloated budget and all that stuff. But I'm telling you, look at us. We griped and moaned about panhandlers, and now we have new tent cities that the government's gonna do.
So much of what they've done has been a letdown. Brown Park, for example.
Man.
I have younger brothers that play baseball. My dad brought them to Brown Park 2 or 3 times to go see the facilities, to really see what it's about. To go to the batting cages a lot, every single time. Call the number, no answer.
Wow,
They
shocker.
could not get in. And then Brown Park's now known as the park for the little kids. It's not even like known for good competitions.
Well, it doesn't have the. It has the facilities to service an association. It does
Yes.
not have the facilities to service, a good economic driver. Look, that was all by design in the north side, okay? The reason why Buc-ee's is there is because we busted our tail with a lot of people to clear out the site. There was major power lines. We had to work with Entergy to move those. We had major drainage issues. That was one of the few areas that had drainage issues in the north side. So we had to fix all that. You have to develop these things. We extended Louisiana Avenue and we built Brown Park. We would have had the second phase done by now, and all of that ties. Excuse me. All of that ties together.
Yeah, Louisiana Avenue is a great opportunity for Lafayette. I think I've been on this. I think they need to raise the speed limit. It should be 50, not 45. But I'm still working with the council on that. I'm still working on the council with that. Hopefully we can get it done soon. Fingers crossed. And Buc-ee's needs to get finished. What is taking so long?
Call Beaver.
I need to call them because I've passed it almost every day. And I don't see any improvement.
That's a cool dude too. It literally, his name's Beaver. That's why he has the little logo. I remember talking to Beaver several times, and he's just a good dude, man. That's a down to earth guy. The owner of Buc-ee's. He just a down to earth dude. Very methodical. Man, they don't put a Buc-ee's there unless they've done their homework. So kudos to the city and parish residents of Lafayette for doing a great job in creating an environment where, folks like that want to come here. So that's good. That's good. I just hope we don't scare them away with all the dang litter, grass, and panhandlers and crime.
Yeah, let's make it inviting. Louisiana Avenue is a great corridor that can really have these things that really show what Lafayette is. I think the flower boxes were a good idea, but it's not being kept up with.
Yeah, it's you got to maintain it. But look, it's not just Louisiana Avenue. North St. Antoine Street Extension.
Yeah.
Shout out to Pat Lewis. I had no clue where that was until he pointed it out. And then he pointed out, but that book, do y'all know that project, this is how you know politicians are politicians. That project, North St. Antoine Street Extension to go underneath I-10 and north right by Acadiana Hills and all that stuff. It's been on the books, I think he had told me like 19 or 20 years or some crazy amount. And nobody did anything about it, all right? But you can invest, and you should, in disinvested areas when you get your fiscal house in order. Look, I don't know, maybe it's just the Army, I don't know, but we were always told as commanders, you expect to do the same mission the next year, but with less budget, less money. And that's always stuck with me. And that was our mentality when we were in office. Supply chain is not my problem. Supply chain is not my constituents' problem. Not getting a good bid is not my constituents' problem. Go find it out. Start local, branch out from there. But I don't care what we have to do. But you get the job done for your folks, all right? All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Man, go visit my friends at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic. Go do what me and my wife did and continues to do. We love it over there. Man, look, here's the thing. They treat the symptoms from the inside out. Okay, that's good. But it's just a wellness maintenance. Like my wife and I already went to that whole little detox, basically. Now we're just on the maintenance plan. I feel great. I have a lot more energy. Lost some weight. Did all this stuff, and it's really just tiny little tweaks, like tiny tweaks. And that's why I like Dr. Kevin. He gives you manageable stuff. None of this crazy regimes that you gotta at first it may be depending on your body, because Jamie, my wife, had a different program than me. We were on the same or a different treatment plan than me slightly. We ended up at the same spot. Our levels, thank God, are good, but yeah, so go visit him, man, and it's very objective, and he walks you through the whole process so you know what's going on. So Dr. Kevin at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic, you hear him every day on Wellness Wednesdays. So, all right, our Wellness Wednesday may be tomorrow, though.
Yeah. So you had talked about before we went to the ad break about these what's called a disinvested area. Yeah. What are these disinvested areas? What does that even mean?
Don't look into it too much. It's just areas where the private sector or the government has not placed investment.
So how do you fix that? Like what is the government? What does LCQ do currently to fix these disinvested areas?
Well, currently they try to control everything because they're Democrats, okay, and big government Democrats at that. It's not, like I said, this is more the DSA folks than the traditional Democrat folks. They believe government can fix everything. Well, we just need to talk about it. We need to have some community meetings when only the same 12 people show up. That's not a community meeting. You tailor the community. These guys tailor these community meetings around people that they know are going to give them the feedback that they need. Okay?
Yeah, community meetings were always something that I always thought was a good idea, but I don't think the way it's done is correctly.
Anybody know when they are?
Yeah, no one knows when they are. Social media is a key to a lot of solutions and also causes a lot of problems. But what government can do is it can use social media to figure out how to advertise these things, because advertising is basically free now. You put a post up, and you just keep very adamant about posting and very strategic in how you do it, and you get these meetings pretty packed and a lot of people there.
Yeah, you do, and you're right. Use the technology that's available to you. But you ask, what is government doing, or what should government do? Right now, what government's doing is the same old elite, behind the scenes, we know better than you, we're going to put all this effort and money in, and we're going to control the situation. It's only going to make it worse. No offense. What government can do is the basics, and that's it. Do the basics, and do the basics very well, and then get the heck out of the way. What do I mean by that? You can invest in roads. You can invest in drainage. That's what we did with Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's was not sweet-talking Beaver to get his butt down here. No, he had major concerns. One was drainage, and one was the power lines, okay? That was the two major concerns. Now, be careful here, and this is my philosophy. I did not believe in doing infrastructure projects specifically just for a private investment, because I think that's not the way government should do it. It's picking winners and losers. But that particular footprint needed drainage for Brown Park's improvements, needed drainage for that local neighborhood, just that border. If you had a map, you can see what I'm talking about. Right, there's only a neighborhood just to the west and northwest of Brown Park. If you look, Point de Mouton. If you look at that area has a little bit of drainage issues too. So when you take that plus the economic development, that's something government can do, and they can do it well, and we did. They're here, or they're coming here. Now, roads. Well, we needed to expand Louisiana Avenue. We did that. Now, why is the project stopped? I'm not privy to the conversations, but I will tell you what usually happens when a project like Buc-ee's just stops, like it is right now. It's because the local government is such a pain in the neck to deal with that it just stalls. And it's not necessarily the regulations, it's the regulatory process that's implemented with this particular attitude. Control, government, everything. Man, I promise you, You ask what government can do. Government can do the basics, but if government sets out the rules right off the bat and sticks to them, don't switch unless there's like an emergency. You don't change. You know, that's why we moved. They moved it back. I don't know why you would move this back, but we moved LUS and the fire department's review up closer in the process of these permits and stuff because. And it wasn't the fire department's fault, and it wasn't LUS's fault. It's just the way they just had different things to look at. But for whatever reason, that's where changes would happen in the process. So we just moved it up, and that helped. Developers were happy with it. They moved it back. I don't know why. That's the kind of stuff that stunts growth. Little tiny things. Things that we don't talk about on the radio a lot. Things we don't talk about on KLFY Plus a lot. But things that happen every single day or a lot of days, and we don't even know about it. And we wonder, well, why is Bucky stopped? What's the leadership thing? I mean, we got it here. Just finish it.
Yeah,
tie the bow.
You need strong, efficient, and accountable leaders that are really going to set a vision and actually accomplish the vision. You see so many people that run for office that have these grandiose visions. If they don't have the capability to actually get them done because they're not able to put everything into fruition and put all the pieces in motion.
That's a good way to put it.
I think that's the problem.
You know, you asked what could government do? Now, that's at the local level. And usually the federal government's not involved in this kind of stuff, okay? Usually. Trump, I say that. I take that back. There's a ton of HUD programs, CDBG, all that stuff. And there's so many other grants. Monique loves them. University. Anywho. How are we taking state dollars, state capital outlay dollars for university when we got a grant from the federal government? I don't understand that. I was a big fan of just giving the money back if they didn't figure out the 4 lanes. You know? I mean, I was happy with the interchanges, the intersection improvements. I felt like that was no harm, no foul, so I was cool with that. Just make sure it could support 4 roads. I was adamant. And they'd fuss me. The bureaucrats would fuss me. We're going to get that free money? Yeah. Yeah. You know, it ain't, if it's not the project that helps the folks, then yeah. Because we don't lose anything. You know what I mean? We don't have to do this crazy stuff. But I digress. President Trump had a wonderful way to address disinvested areas. In his first term, he had things called opportunity zones. And Lafayette Parish had 7, okay? 7 opportunity zones. You could do a QOF, Qualified Opportunity Fund. We really want to nerd out. I paid attention, man. That was one of the areas where I went to the White House, got briefed by John Fleming. He was in there talking about opportunity zones. What the heck is that? Well, it's these areas. Lafayette had 7 of them that no investment, no capital investment. It's just nothing's happening. The economy's not doing anything there. It's not residential. It's just blah. It's just sitting there. And the government can't fix it. But the private sector can. So all President Trump did was he created these zones where he gave tax benefits and incentives for people in the private sector to go in there and invest in these areas in the communities across the country, inner cities, like all the people that don't vote for the man, basically, who benefited from these projects. And that was one of the few areas. There was 2 things while I was in office at the local level I thought we did good at the federal level. One was opportunity zones, which is under President Trump. And the second one was ARPA, which was under President Biden, American Rescue Plan Act. And those funds were distributed is rare, directly to the municipality. And we used it. Okay? And it was good. We didn't have to go through the bureaucratic machine. Then, after bragging about it, a year or 2 later, they start this infrastructure bill. Still waiting. They just abandoned all the great things about ARPA and went back to the old way. Carencro is the only municipality in the parish, I think, that got any of the infrastructure dollars. Now, how many tax dollars have we spent for that? Sent for that? A lot. To the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting from the KPEL studios. We're going to have those phone lines open tomorrow. I can't wait. All these callers. Lane, I tell you, in your absence, when I was over there pressing buttons, successfully, I might add.
Yeah, I listened to the show a little bit yesterday. It was
Hey,
very good.
well, the first day I did, I think, keep us off a rumble for a segment. It's all good.
Yeah, it happens every now
It's
and
like
then. It's
one
not
thing.
ideal, but it happens
I mean,
sometimes.
hey, look, redid the intro and everybody's good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're a family here. We're a tight knit community here on the Josh Guillory Show. All right, man. I tell you what, go tight knit. Go visit Giles Volvo. Giles Volvo, get that luxury feel. From a luxury car, Volvo. But get it at the Giles price and get it at the Giles service commitment. See, that's things we need to talk about more. This service commitment by Giles Volvo is a thing. When you go in, it's not one and done. They don't want that. They don't want to just sell you a car. They want to be part of the experience. It's a Volvo. It has all the gadgets and gizmos. Go get them. Giles Volvo here in Lafayette, Louisiana. All right, guys, let's keep on. Last segment. Let's finish strong, Lane. I got so much. I want 7 more segments.
That'd be fun.
We got stuff to talk about. All right, so let's go back to local a little bit. Now, you were reading, I don't know much about this. I'm going to get it from Lane, just like, we were talking about it. So apparently there's this little tiff brewing with downtown and the current mayor-president, which is very interesting. DDA, Downtown Development Authority, they have a role, and their mission is just to make downtown prosperous, do the best they can. In the whole parish, I believe this. The whole parish does better when downtown and all of our areas is flourishing. When Dusson does a great job, Broussard benefits, and Lafayette benefits, and all the things. Okay, all the things. Downtown really can be viewed as the parish's downtown. It can even be viewed as Acadiana's downtown. A lot of things happen there. So you want it nice, you want it clean, you want it patrolled. You want all those things, okay? Just to compare and contrast. I mean, you just gotta know these things exist because you're paying tax dollars here locally. So we had put a downtown precinct for PD. My understanding is that is now understaffed. I don't know why. But DDA, Downtown Development Authority, they're looking at like infrastructure needs, programming. They have a millage dedicated to them. LCG has very little direct, they don't have anything over their budget. But you view it as you see fit. But I always viewed it as they're your partner, just like all these other people are your partner. We may disagree philosophically on some things, For example, under like my administration, I would not be keen on spending recurring money for DDA purposes. I feel like DDA can handle that. And they handle it well. They're funded, and it's all great. But where the city and parish can come in is infrastructure. Clean up the place. Patrol the place. Make sure the roads are good. Guys, you don't even know it. There's so much drainage downtown now under the ground that you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. And partnerships with so that's where government could come in. And I know that firsthand. So that's the yin and the yang, because if you ask DDA to do all of that, that's above their capacity financially. But if you ask LCG to do all the programming and all that stuff, well, that's really not a great function of government. We need these DDA folks to do that. So the board works hard. Kevin Blanchard's over there. He's the executive director. He has been very much a statesman in this budget. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say so. He's very professional. There's an article out by The Advocate, and they quote him a few times, and he very much takes the blame for anything that goes wrong in any negotiations or anything. He doesn't blame anyone. It's his fault, he basically says.
Yeah.
Which gentleman thing to say.
But he had mentioned that, so DDA, look, you got to invest in downtown. There was a 10-year period where there was only like $19 million. That's a lot of money. I get it. $19 million total in a 10-year period. And then there was a 4-year period where $61 million was invested, okay? Not in the exciting things necessarily, like underground storage of water, conveyance structures underground, the culverts and all that stuff, okay? Some road work, cleaning up the place, adding a police precinct, things like that you can do, okay? But DDA comes in and they have a role. So he goes to Kevin Blanchard, the executive director for DDA, goes to the council, and he's a very much a gentleman about this.
Yes.
He said Kevin said he did a good job explaining it to the council, this plan for downtown. Remember, it's budget, okay? So they're asking the local government to take care of local government needs. I don't think it's unreasonable, okay? And Kevin and I don't always see eye to eye, but my wife and I don't always see eye to eye. But I can see when somebody's working hard, and I can see when somebody's wanting to do the right thing, even if we disagree with some stuff, you know. But dude, so he was a gentleman. He said he thinks he did a good job explaining it to the council, and the council was on board with it. But he says he didn't do a good enough job explaining it to the mayor and president. And that is such a classy move. Like, what a way of saying that, okay? So the mayor president vetoed that request. The council approved it. Man,
4-1 approval.
if I would have vetoed something like that, my head would have been on a spike. The current would have called me the devil. I would have had no love or anything for anybody down. I would have hated downtown. But this ain't about me. But Kevin, I thought, communicated well. What else on that?
Yeah, I think he did a very good job. And what the article by the Advocate really goes into explaining is how a lot of the money that's going into downtown is increasing. You see people going to downtown more. He said downtown used to be known for like a nightlife.
Yeah.
And it's starting to change a little bit, where now it's more of like an evening environment for like elderly people and young people just go eat dinner or do a little shopping. And the nightlife has not died down, but it hasn't been as prominent. It's not the only thing downtown's known for.
That is such a good analysis.
Yeah.
And he look, DDA's right on that. Kevin's right on that. There's so many things downtown we can do. We learned off of Jefferson Street. You know, don't plant them cypress trees. It's going to cause some trouble. But Lee Avenue and Main Street are two areas where it's easy wins. Not a lot of money to invest, but there's some permitting stuff, and there's some movement on Lee that we would need to work with some local stakeholders on. But it's doable. Everybody wants it, okay? Main Street, there was already in the budget and a rendering. This should be done by now. The Main Street Phase 1 is from the cathedral to the courthouse. And then Phase 2 would be from the courthouse all the way to Johnson Street. If you had those three roads squared away in that triangle, everything branches off. You know, you can streetscape Lee Avenue and have a really big economic engine. You can add some residential, which adds to the safety of the footprint. There you go. I can use the terminology downtown. But look, I'm happy to see that shift. That's a lot of work from DDA. That's where DDA comes in. That's that. It's more than programming. It's like a miniature government inside, like a miniature municipality quasi that has to work with LCG. So again, guys, the council, man, look, these guys are working hard. They saw it. They saw and that's not easy during budget for a council to adjust like that. So they took the time to adjust. I don't know all the details of the proposal, but from what you rattled off to me, what we did read on it, seems like basic government stuff. So, you know, you need to do that. The council saw that, which means they had to adjust. So anyway, guys, that's all the time we have. Pray for all our local leaders, our state leaders, our national leaders. May God be with you. Be careful out there and be kind.